Okay, hi there, I'm Deb Stanley. I was born and raised on Hudson Island in Hay River, Northwest Territories. I was born to Harold and Florence Hudson in 1959. Before I was born, my mom was a nurse, and that's how she came to Hay River. She was a nurse in a Clavic, and they were short-staffed in Hay River, so she came to Hay River to be a nurse, and that was when she met my father. And he asked her if she wanted to go and cook in a restaurant at Buffalo River. And she said she would go check it out. And this was in the winter, and Dad and his dad were trapping out there. So Dad brought Mom for the weekend to Buffalo River, and there was no hotel there for her to cook in. It was just Grandpa's cabin. And Dad said to Mom he wasn't going to bring her back to town until she said she'd marry him. So the rest is history. They got married. Anyways, they had two girls before I was born. And the year that I was born in May, so ice had just gone off the river. And Mom was working in the garden, and she went into labor there. And there was only her and Dad on the island, so she didn't have enough time to get across the river and get to the hospital. So she told Dad what to do and get everything ready, and that he was going to deliver her baby. And so I was born. And she said she was planting tomato plants when I was born. So later on, when I was a teenager and Cabbage Patch Dolls came into the world, Dad always used to tease me and say I was the real Cabbage Patch baby because Mom was planting tomatoes when I was being born. Growing up on Hudson Island, we had no electricity and no running water. We used to have to go and haul water from the river and bring it up and fill a barrel. And for power, well, there was no power, so we had candlelight or gas lamps or coal oil lamps, which was probably common in those days, candles or coal oil. Most of my survival skills I got from Hudson Island. Growing up there, there was a lot of wild animals, and there was a lot of berries to pick, and that's what we did in the summers. We picked berries and grew. Mom had a great big garden. She had actually 2 gardens that we had to water and look after. That was one of our chores. So along with no electricity and no running water, that meant when we hauled water, and if we had to have a bath, we needed to fill up a great big galvanized steel tub to have a bath. So that was once a week, and it was kind of annoying. Something that you didn't like, because that was a work day. In order to have that bath, you had to haul water up, heat it up. We did laundry the same way. It was all done by hand, and hung our clothes outside. But that's not all. We didn't have, when you got no running water, we had no indoor toilets back then either. So we had a pot that you could use at night, but there was an outhouse. That's where everybody went. You went outside to use the outhouse. And in the winter, it was freezing. Nobody liked doing that in the winter. It was also dark, because it's dark. Once December's here, there's no light till January, end of January or whatever. But when I was a kid growing up, in the summers, we would take the school bus across the river to go to school. Mr. Camsell, Harry Camsell, drove the school boat, and he'd go down to the reserve and pick up the kids on the reserve. Then he'd come to Hudson Island, pick us kids up and take us across. And at the end of the school day, he did the same thing in reverse. He'd drop us off on Hudson Island, take the kids to the reserve, and then he'd go home. So there was another thing I wanted to talk about with the school boat. We learned how to swim very young. Dad used to take us kids down to the water and throw us in and teach us how to. Mom had a little green boat, and we used to play around in that whenever we were wanting to go fishing or just do things. So once we got old enough, we didn't have to take the school boat anymore. We would just take our own boat we'd take Mom's little green boat and we'd go across. And we did that for years. We moved off of Hudson Island in 1975, I think it was 75 or 76. And after that, we just went on the island for picnics, or if Dad wanted to make smoked fish. That was another thing. Dad was a fisherman in the summertime, so when he came home, a lot of times we had to help him fish. So got in head. That's what we did. All day long. He never let us touch the guts or anything like that, but we had to help him clean the fish and get them ready to take to the market. And back then, he used to take it from Hudson Island all the way around to the West Channel by boat, because I think it was called Menzies, I'm not quite sure, but they had a fishing spot there where you could drop your fish off and sell it. And he used to make us kids go with him and sit in the boat so nobody would go take his fish, because that was a thing back then. You go over there and come back and your fish might be gone. You didn't know, right? So I'm not going to name any names or anything, or if there was dogs around. But anyways, it was always fun in the summer times doing that. And if we wanted to go to the beach, he would just boat us kids to the beach and leave us there all day and then come back and get us. It never got dark, so it didn't matter. Lots of times, him and Mom would get off work and come join us at the beach, and we'd have a nice little picnic at nights. Sometimes we had a picnic on the island ourselves, until one year my sister couldn't find any hot dogs, so she cut up some bacon, and we were roasting bacon on a fire. We started a fire on the island. We got it out, put out before Mom and Dad got home, so that was a good thing. And I miss her. My older sister Sandy, she used to like hunting and fishing, and she'd always go with Dad. She was Dad's tomboy, so they'd go out on the lake. She went fishing with him. He just had a small boat, and she'd go fishing with him. So one summer we were at Jones Point, and I think I was about 10 years old then, she taught me how to set nets to catch our own fish, because she figured that we could make money if we caught lots of fish and sold it. So we set a net. She showed me how we took a little raft. We built a little raft, and we went out, set the net, and cleaned the fish all up by ourselves and took them to Dad to see if we could sell them, and they were all suckers. We could not sell those fish because they were just suckers. Nobody wanted those fish then. I think all they do is make them into smoked fish, right? So, and then in the winters, she used to like going out setting snares. So I'd go with her, and she showed me how to set a snare and how to find the tracks where the rabbits were and stuff, and we'd set snares. Sometimes we caught little birds in those snares, which was kind of sad, but other than that, like most of the time she got the birds out enough so that they could still live. But the rabbits, that was our food, until one time she caught a live rabbit and she brought it home and thought she was going to tame this rabbit to be a pet for the house. That was the end of our setting snares for rabbits. That was where I learned how to shoot a rifle. Dad taught all of us kids how to shoot a .22 when we were young, and that was, we'd go chicken hunting, or sometimes just ducks if they were along the shores, go and hunt little birds and bring them home for Mom to cook. In the summer when Dad was gone, sometimes he'd be gone the whole summer fishing, and so Mom was left on her own to look after all 6 of us kids that grew up in that little cabin. 4 of us girls shared a bed. We all slept in a king-size bed, and our brothers had top bunks. They were the lucky ones. They got to sleep by themselves. We had 2 brothers, and then Mom and Dad slept in the other room. That's it.